Good evening, Professor Pillion. First off, I would like to take this moment to apologize for doing this at so last minute, but at the same time, I'm glad I'm still going to be able to do this. Now, what I am going to be doing is a presentation on 7 tips that I've gathered from 2 different sources I found off the internet. Uh, I've gathered 3 different tips on oral storytelling and 4 different tips for online public speaking. Now, as for what those 2 subjects are, online public speaking is literally as it is described. Public speaking done online over a computer or a phone. Pretty much it requires similar things as regular public speaking, uh, presenting your information towards a targeted audience, except this time you're not visually seeing the audience yourself. You're simply recording yourself either live or in preparation and posting that information online. As for oral public speaking, it's a different form of communication that's actually pretty different from literature, which is a different form of storytelling, where literature needs only one person for information to be shared. Oral public speaking requires at least 2 people, one person to share the information and another to listen and receive and memorize said information. Now, as I said, I'm going to be sharing these tips I gathered from you, starting off with oral storytelling. These tips I've gathered are from Chantel's.com, 9 tips for storytelling, and I'm going to be sharing 3. The first one is speaking clearly. You need to proudly project your voice off towards your audience or listeners so they can hear you. Enunciate yourself. And also, there's another tip that is separate from this, but I feel kind of falls under speaking clearly, which is keeping your pace, uh, which is very important because you don't want to be stuttering and saying or hesitating most of the time, like I was doing just a few moments ago, which is not good, not recommended. But if you can minimize that as much as possible, you should be an effective storyteller that way. Next tip, keeping eye contact. Now, it's important to keep eye contact because it creates a level of personalization between you and your audience. It makes them feel as though you're speaking directly to them, which will get them to listen to you much more easily. It'll make them feel as though you're actually having a direct conversation with them instead of just preaching at you with information. Another one is using natural gestures. As I'm doing now, I'm doing several hand gestures as well as moving my upper body. That's what they mean by natural gestures. Make yourself feel animated, use actual body language, maybe even move around. Like, don't just sit still and do nothing, you'll bore your audience. That's it for the tips for storytelling. And moving on to my tips for online public speaking, I found from a blog made by Gigi Rosenberg, a public speaking coach. At least that's what it said under her name. Now, one of the things she said for online public speaking is elevating or raising your phone, computer, or recording device. You need to have it at a good position where the angle is right and the camera can see you clearly. I have my computer sitting on a bunch of pillows right now, so it can be elevated and it'll have a clear picture of my face so I won't be hunched down looking down at you through the camera. Another one is dressed apart. As you can see, I'm in a polo shirt and I also have on jeans, which you cannot see, unfortunately. But it dressed apart. It's the same thing with regular public speaking. Dress in what makes you feel comfortable or professional, and just fire away from there. Next up, watching your eyes. You need to watch your eyes, and by that I mean don't look directly at the screen. You need to look at the camera because depending on the quality of your video, the audience watching your recording will be able to see that your eyes are not on them if you're not looking directly at the camera. It's an easy mistake to make, so don't look at the screen. And another thing is be aware of your background as well. You don't want a very unprofessional or messy background. Right now, I'm keeping it simple. We're in my room right now. All you can see is my closet as well as my mirror. But don't have something like a messy bed or dirty trash in your background. Either keep it simple or keep it neat, keep it professional, and it should create a better, well received video in that regard. That's it for my tips. As I just said, I recited 7 different tips for oral speaking. oral storytelling, and online public speaking. 3 tips for oral storytelling and online public speaking. I thank you for your time, and I will be posting this soon. Good evening.